everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer and today we are looking at the Makeup by Mario foundation. Yes, I do have it on my face right now for the intro. You'll get to see me put it on my face in the video and wear it for quite some time. I've been reviewing this. I've been wearing this for the last couple of days, so I do have some thoughts and we'll go through all of them in the video. I will definitely do an update video in a couple weeks, but this will give you a first couple of days, first week take on what I think. So with that, if you're interested in seeing it, just stay tuned. Hey everyone, so as I said in my intro, we're trying out the Makeup by Mario foundation. I have used it a little bit. I'm gonna wanna do a follow-up video on this, like I do my mini reviews and updates kind of video, and I'll definitely have this in here. So let's talk about the foundation. You might notice my face looks a little weird. I have the foundation on half of my face. So I'm gonna try it on for you guys, do a full face of makeup, come back, but I want to talk about the foundation first. So first of all, this is the Makeup by Mario foundation. This is a glass bottle, which I do like. It's a pump, and it is $42 on Sephora. It is 1 ounce, and I like the look of it. Like I like the, I don't know, like the aesthetic is nice. It's simple, you know, I like that. I don't like things that are overly ornate. The color, the shade options, let me look how many shades. There are 2, 3, 6, 9, 27, 30 shades, which is not bad. I ended up getting the lightest shade, which is 1C Fair with cool undertones. I will say it is a match for my skin, but you know, the next up is a 2N, so it's fair with neutral. So there's not a ton on the very pale end or the very deep end. So I mean, you know, again, but 30 shades is not terrible. The way this is described, it's a breathable, luminous foundation that effortlessly builds and blends to illuminate the complexion with customizable long-wearing coverage. So I assume that they mean that you can build it. You can go from, this is one application to building it up, making it more coverage. I would never go more than this, but we'll try it out. And that it's illuminating long-wearing. So long-wearing, it does seem relatively long-wearing. I'll spoiler alert, but we'll get into more of that later. Ingredients: grapeseed oil and vegetable squalene provide restoring moisturizing benefits. Perfecting powders works with skin's natural texture for a smooth and enhanced finish. No parabens, formaldehydes, phthalates, mineral oil, retinol palmitate. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here that's not in here. Sulfates, contains less than 1% of synthetic fragrance. They say that it is vegan, gluten-free, and cruelty-free, which is why the squalene is vegetable or vegetal squalene. And it says, this foundation reveals skin's natural luminosity. It features moisture grip technology, hydrates skin, and glides on easily for customizable coverage. Layer it on or shear it out. The buildable formula works harmoniously with powders or creams while staying true to its original color. Okay, so let me pull my hair back so you can see the left side of my face a little better. And by the way, when does this go up? This should go up the 31st or the 1st, depending on how, you know, my schedule works out. But Happy New Year and happy 2023, or about to be in 2023. Thanks so much for watching this year. I greatly appreciate it. I will have some wrap-up kind of videos. They'll show up in 2023 in January, but they'll basically be like trends that we saw in 2022, what we expect to see in 2023. Hopefully it's not more like thin eyebrows, because that, by the way, I lived through that. Don't do it. Do not over tweeze your eyebrows, guys out there who are doing it now. Don't do it. That's my little PSA for today. Don't over tweeze your eyebrows. So you can see the foundation on this side of my face. And again, I'm going to pump it out. I'm going to show you what it looks like, but I do not see luminosity with this foundation. Now, I have dry skin, and right now I have dehydrated skin because I was not feeling all that great. To be honest, for like 2 days did not use moisturizer because I I was sick. So I was like, you know what? I washed my face, but that's the best I could get to. So my skin is dehydrated, it is dry. I do my, you know, morning routine. I have moisturizer on now, and I have moisturizer. You can see it's on this side of the face. It was on this side of the face before I put the foundation on. But the foundation is not, in my opinion, luminous. Now, again, I have dry, dehydrated skin at the moment. So, you know, is that a fair statement for someone who has, quote, average, normal skin? I don't know what that really means, normal skin. Anyway, but I think you can see there's not a luminous effect to this foundation. I tend to prefer foundations that are truly like luminous, because then on my skin, it just looks a little bit, just a little bit healthy. Whereas on other people, they might feel like it's, you know, too much. So again, just keep all that in mind when I go through this review. So the formula itself is thick, very creamy. It reminds me of the Guerlain L'Essential, the Glow formula, not the matte and not the natural, but the Glow formula in its consistency, because it's very creamy and it looks like satiny and luminous on the back of my hand. It's just that when it goes on my face, it doesn't necessarily have the same look. So I'm gonna take this is one pump, or almost one pump, and I'm just gonna put it on, and you guys can, you know, decide for yourself. And then I'll put on some face products, bronzer, blush, and then we'll talk a little bit. And then I'll go off camera. I'm gonna do an eye look with a about to be released eye quad. It'll be over on Patreon until it's officially released, guys. I just have to be careful. I've mentioned it a million times. With the bigger brands like Chanel and Dior and stuff, you just can't. It's just not worth it. I will say, I think the foundation has good coverage, and I like that it, you know, it's easy to use. Like it easily blends out on the skin. I haven't had any problems with it when it comes, there's no patchiness. It's not, it doesn't emphasize pores or anything like that. So I think, and again, I have skin that's drier, although lately in my life it's been a little bit better. But this is either the best time to test it or the worst time. I'm not sure, because my skin is so dry and dehydrated. But you know, I'd say somebody who has like, quote, average, more normal oils in their skin, I think they're gonna really like this, because I do feel like it's not uncomfortable on my skin. I don't feel like it's, like there's some foundations I put on and I'm like, no, immediately you can like see my skin like, you know, and it's a Sahara. And I've also tried foundations that are so, quote, dewy and like creamy that they look terrible from the minute I put them on. So this is neither one of those. It's not a negative for me. That's why I want to do a follow-up with it, because I feel like it's really gonna depend on how it wears over several days. I've only tested it for 2 days. It's not enough. Talking about that, like if you watch a review and somebody's just trying it on and they give a review and they say it's their first impressions, that's totally legit. Like, hey, first impressions, I do those. You try it out, you like it or you don't like it, but you have to do more testing. But with a foundation especially, you need more than like a day. You need more than a week, in my opinion. Like you can give a relatively comprehensive one for a week, but hormones change your skin, time of year changes your skin, what you eat changes your skin, how much water you've had changes your skin. So foundations, especially in my opinion, you really need time. So that's why I always try to do at least an update or a mini review on the foundations. Like sometimes I don't on eyeshadows, because frankly, you can tell pretty quickly if the eyeshadow's good or not. You'll know. But foundations on different days, just to be honest, they work differently. And I think you can notice, like right off the bat, right? This side of my face still looks like a little bit luminous because I just put it on. And this side of my face looks drier. And it's because I've had it on this side of my face for about an hour before I came on camera, because I wanted to let it sit in. So this is what I'm talking about. When I first put it on, it's like, oh, that's, you know, that looks luminous, that looks nice. And then an hour later, does Does it look bad? No, I'm not saying it looks bad, but it looks a little dry. So I'm trying to figure out what my thoughts are, because this has happened now like a couple of days ago. I didn't film for the last couple of days because, like I said, I did not feel well. So we'll see. I'm going to take a little bit more of it. Like, this is not even a full pump. And I'm just going to go in through these areas that I have a little bit of redness. Although I have a lot less redness from the from doing the lasers. I think they've worked really well. If you're on the fence about doing lasers for redness or any other reason, I can tell you from my own personal experience, I think they're worth it. Make sure you go to somebody who's, you know, qualified, do your research, figure out what laser you need, all of those things, and recognize that if you're going to do what I did, which is a pulse dye laser, that takes several treatments and they're very expensive. So save up. That's what I did. But they really do work. So that does build coverage. I mean, I honestly can see no redness at all. So I'll try to build it up on the other side as well. So I would just say that, in my opinion, this is a good foundation. I think it's buildable. It doesn't look cakey on my skin, which means that, you know, it's not too drying to begin with, which is good. When you start to build it, it doesn't look heavy. It looks nice. And yeah, I mean, I think it's got great coverage, and went on really smoothly. No patchiness. It's not sinking into pores. Yeah, I think it's good. I'm a little iffy on the luminosity statement for drier skin or for dehydrated skin. That's my only take. So let this sit for a second and just talk a little bit what's on the box. The 12 months or whatever it is size on the back of this thing has like rubbed off. I think it said 12. Like, literally it's rubbed off. I don't know how that happened, but I think it says 12 months. Made in the USA. It's got the Leaping Bunny on it. Made in New York. First ingredient is water. It's got polyglycerol. Don't really know what that is. Coconut alkynes. That's interesting. Okay, I'm just looking to see if there's anything in here. There's mica in here. I mean, it's the normal things. Grapeseed oil, squalene are lower down the list. In fact, I think they're like the last things on this list. Close. Yeah, close to the last things on this list. So, I mean, if you know, you're looking, if something's really hydrating, a lot of times it's like the first thing on the list or some of the top things on the list. He says, Surreal Skin Foundation is my complexion masterpiece. I put my heart into this groundbreaking formula with the hope of not creating a barrier of foundation, but rather awakening the true infinite beauty that lies within. With love and light, Mario. I have to say, guys, I have always been a fan of Mario as an artist. I think he's extremely talented. I have said many times that his original palette that he did with ABH was one of my favorite of all time. I literally have 2 of them. It's very old now, and I really need to use it more often because eventually it is going to go bad. I mean, you know, they're powder, but still, they're going to go bad eventually. So I'm a big fan of him and want him to do well. So I'm rooting for this foundation. Okay, so let's put on a little bit of powder and see how it interacts. I can see lines already forming around my mouth. Now, the lines were there before. Don't get me wrong. I have lines around my mouth because I'm 50 and that happens when you have lines when you're 50. But some foundations don't emphasize them and some do. So I can already tell you that the little lines around my mouth are visible. Not badly, but you can see them right here and right here. And also the dryness around my nose, you can see that. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, this is and even the lines around my eyes and under my eyes. So again, it's not like it's a bad foundation. I just feel like, I'd say luminous. But you know what? Maybe luminous is the better term because he didn't say hydrating. He said luminous. So, you know, that might be fair. It's not a hydrating foundation. And I know a lot of you out there don't want a hydrating foundation. I have many friends who have oily skin and literally hate, you know, when they have hydrating foundations because they're like, this is the exact opposite of what I need. So I understand. You know, you can't make a product that's going to be perfect for everybody. That just doesn't happen. You know, everybody's different. Everybody has different types of skin and different types of likes and dislikes. So you're never going to find something that is going to work for everyone. It's not possible. So I get that. That's why I like the dislike. That's why I dislike the use of universal so much, because nothing is universal. It just does not work that way. Let's use one of my favorite products of 2022. This is the Holiday Valentino blush and the brush from Rose & Ben, which is a great brush, guys. If you haven't tried this brush, it's seriously, it's like the perfect, I have a little hair. It's like the perfect placement for like your blush. Like it just, super easy. Super easy. She's coming out with a foundation brush, which of course I will buy. And if you don't watch her, you really should watch her. She's a really good makeup artist, and she's just like a fun person to watch. I really enjoy her. But anyway, this is a 111. This is the coral one. It's a great shade. It's actually pretty deep for me, but you know, with this brush, it works perfectly. I just use a little bit of it, and it's like a highlighting blush, so I don't use anything with it. I just use the blush. Now I'm going to use a little bit of powder to set my under eyes. So we'll see how this works with some powder as well, because like I said a million times, my skin is dry. So I'm going to use two different powders so you guys can take a look at the difference. I'm going to use the Suqqu Oil Rich Lavender Powder that came out for the holidays, which is one of my favorite powders. I really love this. I'm not a big powder person. Again, dry skin, but this one's really good. I would not recommend this if you have oily skin. I don't think you'll like it. But this is a really beautiful brightening powder. The lavender shade is gorgeous. Really, it's beautiful. And if you can find it, I would definitely say pick it up. And if you have average, like quote, normal, to dry skin, I would not recommend it if people have oily skin. It's an oil-rich foundation, powder formulation, and so it has more of like a hydrating formula. So I don't think you'll like it if you have oily skin. And here's the rose in the Dior, which has just come out, and I will be buying more of these because it is limited edition, and I love this powder. Now I will tell you, I don't love the packaging. I like leopard. Leopard is very, like, I like leopard. I wear leopard. I think it's great. But I just don't think the leopard really fits with the Mitza collection because everything is in it is pink. So I'm kind of like leopard and pink. Not really my thing. I would have preferred it if they had done like leopard and then inside had like, I don't know, browns and bronzes and creams that match the cover. I would have been like, oh yeah. So if they had done this powder with the Millefiore like floral, that would have made total sense with me with the packaging, but they didn't do that. But nobody asked me, so anyway. Okay, so we've got the Suqqu here and we've got the Dior Rose here. You can see how that looks in a little while. I'm gonna do an eye look off camera and come back. But in the meantime, I am gonna put on some lipstick. This is from the Guerlain Advent Calendar. This is shade 325. This is Kiss Kiss. This is a red shade, which I don't do very often, but I felt like in honor of New Year's, why not? I'll also say that Guerlain lipsticks have a scent. They smell like, what does that smell like? Rose? I'm not exactly sure what it is because I've had this like congestion thing going on, but I think it's like a rose. So it's definitely a strong scent. If you do not like scents in your makeup, I pretty much stay away from most of Guerlain. I love the scents of Guerlain, but it's a perfume house first and foremost, so their makeup products, they have scent. All right, so I'm gonna go off camera, do the eye look, and then we'll come back and it'll be about an hour so you can see how this is worn. And I'll talk a little bit more about the foundation, but I think you've got my gist so far. We'll do final thoughts about where it is, and then again, I'll be doing a follow-up in a couple weeks. So I've had the foundation on now for a while, and I'm gonna pull up my mirror, so you're gonna see a little bit of the mirror in the shot. I apologize, but I want to, so what I notice is that over time with this foundation on my skin, again, my skin alone, the lines here are more noticeable. right here and here. The dryness around my nose is more noticeable. And I start to see more of like the texture. It's not bad, but on my cheeks, like it looks dehydrated because my skin is dehydrated. So it's not the foundation's fault. Like my skin is a little dehydrated. And you can see more of like the lines in my forehead because again, it doesn't plump my skin. Now, I did not use my Guerlain, I did not use my Guerlain watery oil when I used this foundation because I didn't want to use a primer with it because I was like, if I use a primer with it, then, you know, it might be the primer, not the foundation. So I don't have the primer on. I'm going to try it with the Guerlain watery oil. Watery oil is not a primer, but for me, I use it as a primer because it sort of plumps up my skin and makes my skin look healthier. So a lot of times that will fix any problems I have with the foundation, make me look, you know, dry. Again, I am dry, so it's not the foundation's fault, but the Guerlain watery oil kind of like makes my skin look healthier and plumper. It tricks everybody to be like, oh, your skin looks great. Yeah, it just looks like it's settling into lines a little bit. It's a little bit cakey. Again, I put 2 layers on. Don't usually do that. Most times, in fact, I can't remember a time I've ever done 2 layers on my skin. I would rather have a little bit of redness show through. Like I am just one of those people, I like 1 layer of foundation. Because my skin is so dry, it just tends to look cakey over time. It doesn't look bad though. It looks nice on my skin. I'm not, you know, I'm trying to be very meticulous here about talking about this because if you're going to buy it, you're going to spend your money on it. You want to know all the things that, you know, are good and bad. So I think it is long lasting. I want to do more like consecutive days wearing it for a long period of time. I do think it has nice coverage. I do think it's buildable. I do think it's got sort of a luminous like finish because my skin still looks luminous and I do not have any highlighter on my face. So there is a luminosity to the foundation, but it's not hydrating. And I'll have to say, he does not say hydrating. He does say luminous. So that's fair. I mean, you know, and it says Surreal Skin Foundation. So he's not trying to say that, you know, this is super hydrating. And it does look really nice on. And what I'm hoping is that when I use the Guerlain watery oil with it and I just use 1 layer, it'll be great. What I would say right now is it's just a little too drying for my skin to wear by itself and on like 2 layers of it. I'd also say again, I've said this a million times, my skin has been dehydrated because I have not been moisturizing it like I'm supposed to for like the last 2 to 3 days because I've been sick. And that makes a huge difference. If you have dry, dehydrated, I haven't had enough water, or I'm inside because it's cold outside, dry, forced air, all those things. So I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not an absolute out of the gate, love it. So we'll have to give it a little bit more time. But like I said, I have been testing it for a couple of days now. So I feel comfortable saying it's a good foundation. I think there's a lot of pros to it. I think it's a reasonable price point for what you're getting because it's 1 ounce of foundation. And I do think it's long lasting. 30 shades is not bad. $42. If you're a similar skin tone to me, the 1C, go with the lightest shade. It's not that cool. I mean, it's cool, but it's not like pink. So it, you know, I'm sort of like a peach tone. It does work. It is vegan. It is cruelty free. So all those things, I think are really good. And, you know, like I said, I think there's a little bit of like luminosity shimmer to this foundation, which is beautiful and I really like it, but I wouldn't say it's hydrating. So that's the difference. Like this has mica in it, like I mentioned, which is where I think you get that luminosity shimmer kind of thing, which I think looks really nice on the skin, but don't take that to mean, and it doesn't, don't take that to mean hydrating because I don't feel like it is. And so if you have really dry skin, this might not work. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to keep trying it out. And the next time I do it in like another video coming up soon, I'll keep wearing it when I'm doing like an eyeshadow palette or lipstick or something. And I'll use it with the Guerlain water oil so you can see how that looks. I think that's going to make a difference. I really do. that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Have an amazing beginning to 2023, and I hope to see you in another video really soon.